What's up, O'Brien Army? So, today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be doing something a little bit different today. Now, I'm going to be reading a book called Birdie's Lighthouse. It's Birdie's Lighthouse, written by Deborah Hopkinson, illustrated by Kimberly Bulkenroot. Now, yes, this is a little kid's book, but it brings back so many memories because the last time I read this book was when I was in 4th grade. Yeah, it was that long ago. But let's get started. Birdie's Lighthouse. (1855), January 15th. My name is Bertha Holland, but most folks call me Birdie. Before Papa went to sea, he gave me this pretty diary for my birthday. My cat Blueberry likes it almost as much as I do, but only to sit upon. I was born 10 years ago today, here in our cottage by the sea. Hannah Flowers, the midwife, told me the waves roared awful loud that night, right up until I was born. Then they softened and lulled me to sleep. Old Hannah says that means I'm kin to the ocean. February 4th. Today, Nate and I climbed the cliffs to watch for Papa's boat. We looked far out where the lighthouse clings to a patch of black rock called Turtle Island. I told Nate that when I was little, I believed I could tie one end of a string to my finger and the other end to Papa's boat, and Papa would never be lost. Nate laughed. We don't have any magic string, but I hope the lighthouse beam guides Papa home soon. February 16th. This morning it was thick o' fog and no sign of Papa's boat. Nate and I went to the village to ask if the fishermen had any news. Mr. Willis said not to fret. Papa's a red blue waters man and there's no finer sailor in Maine. I want to believe him, but in my heart I know these deep, cold waters are stronger than even Papa. March 5th. Mama sang lullabies to little Janie for a long time tonight, rocking back and forth in the old black chair. Her head was bent down close, but I could see her tears. Mama says after Papa comes home, she hopes he won't go to sea anymore. March 20th. Papa is back safe. April 16th. Mama got her wish. Tonight, Papa came bursting in with the news. He's been chosen the new lighthouse keeper. It's a great honor, for everyone depends on the light keeper. With its bright beam, the lighthouse warns boats of dangerous rocks and marks the mouth of the harbor. If the light is dark even one night, a boat could be lost or a ship could be wrecked. What will it be like, I wonder, to live on that lonely island all by ourselves? May 1st. I was so sad today. Mama said Blueberry is too old to go to Turtle Island. I had to give him to Cousin Sally. I hugged him one last time and tried not to cry. Then we loaded our belongings into the dory and set off. Goodbye, Blueberry. Goodbye, everyone. We were cold and shivering by the time we reached Turtle Island. From the boat, it really did look like a giant black turtle hunched in the sea. What wild, rough waters. Jagged boulders loomed over us, casting cold, eerie shadows. I remembered a story the fishermen told of a night when the lighthouse went dark and a grand schooner slammed into these rocks and was lost. I held my breath, terrified of our little boat would be dashed into pieces. But Papa steered us through the maze of sharp rocks. At last we landed safely. May 5th. When I looked out my window this morning, I couldn't keep the tears inside. There's just our bleak little house, the lighthouse tower, and bare empty rock all around us. At breakfast, Mama gave me an extra dollop of syrup on my fritters to make me smile. Nate is even more unhappy. He'd rather be a fisherman, but at least he gets to help Papa with the light. Mama keeps me busy with lessons and taking care of Janie. Since Janie is walking now, I have to hold her hand all the time. It would be just like her to wander away and topple off a ledge. May 18th. Outside it's dark and foggy, smearing in, the old timers used to call it. I feel that way inside too. I remember a day last spring when Sally and I found the first buttercups in the meadow. We lay in the soft new grass, tiny golden flowers tickling our ears. I wish I could plant flowers here, but the strong sea winds would blow them away. June 15th. Today Mr. Willis sailed by in the sunbeam. I shouted and waved until my arm hurt. The air is softer now. I guess spring touches everywhere, even here. The sea is like a shimmering blue meadow with feather white breakers for wildflowers. We don't have trees, but gulls and terns are nesting on our ledges. And this morning I saw a seal. I like to climb to the very top of the tower Somehow up there I belong to the salty breeze. Bright, skimming clouds and clear, deep waters as far as I can see. July 9th. At supper, Nate told Papa he wants to work on a fishing boat. Papa would rather Nate stay to become the assistant lightkeeper, but after a long talk he said all right. Nate whooped with joy. Papa will need help now. He isn't sure a girl can do it, but I know I can learn to keep the light. I won't let him down. August 4th. My dear brother has left. He'll live in the village with Mr. Willis and work on the sunbeam. From the top of the tower, I watched the dory till it was out of sight. Nate spotted me and waved. I hope he couldn't see me crying. August 15th. A lightkeeper's day starts early. At sunrise, Papa and I climb to the lantern room at the top of the tower. We carefully blow out our 14 lamps and fill them with whale oil for the night ahead. Then I polish the silvery reflectors that help make the light into a bright beam that boats can see from miles away. Just at dusk, we light each lamp again. Papa has taught me how to trim the wicks at midnight, so the lamps burn steady through the night. Our lamps take a lot of care, but no matter what, we can't let them go out. September 11th. Papa lets me make the midnight watch now. I like to tiptoe across the rocks to the tower, wrapped in a bright cocoon of stars. Clang, clang, passing sailors ring their ship's bell, grateful for our light that keeps them safe. Alone in the tower, I curl up with the old Lighthouse logbooks and read about the brave families who lived here before. Last night, I read about a time it breezed up so hard the house was almost washed away. The keeper's family had to wait out the storm for days, huddled in the top of the tower. Papa keeps the logbook for us each night he writes. Light, bright, and steady, signed Nathaniel Holland, Keeper. October 26th. The supply boat came by today with flour, salt pork, potatoes, and cornmeal. And treats too. Fresh apples and maple sugar. Best of all, we got a letter from Nate. Every morning he sees Blueberry sunning himself in Sally's window. What a lazy cat. I can almost hear him purring. I know Nate and Blueberry are happy now. Still, it's hard to be apart. Nate is coming to visit after his next trip aboard the Sunbeam. I can hardly wait. November 15th. This morning we heard the Sunbeam's bell as it sailed up the coast. Mama sighed and was quiet all day. She can't rest easy when someone she loves is at sea. November 27th. It stormed yesterday. Papa stayed up all night to keep the lamps burning. He took sick and by this morning had a high fever, so I did all the work alone. Nate should be back soon. November 30th. Today It was coming on to blow. The wind whipping the waves into white caps as I studied the swirling clouds the way Papa taught me. In my head I could hear his warning, mare's tails and mackereled sky, never 24 hours dry. It didn't want to worry Mama, but in the Lighthouse logbook I wrote, light keeper sick, another bad storm coming. Light, bright, and steady, signed Bertha Holland, keeper's daughter. December 1st. It's a northeaster. 2 boats sailed by, racing to get safely into harbor. But where's Nate? Mama sits by Papa's bed all the time. Janie beside her. I tend the lamps alone. I listen for Nate's bell. The sea is never still. Sometimes it roars so loud it drowns our voices. Mama said there hasn't been a storm this fierce since the night I was born. She thinks it's too dangerous for me to go to the tower again. Yet what else can I do? I'm the light keeper now. December 2nd, midnight. Time to check the lamps. I tiptoed by Papa's room. In the lantern glow, I saw Mama dozing by the bed and Janie bundled up in a nest of blankets on the rug. I whispered goodbye, but no one heard. Outside, the wind screamed and waves pounded the shore. Water came rushing toward me. I put up my hands just as a cold, black wave knocked me down. My lantern was gone. Now I was a little boat lost in a dark storm. I looked up at the flickering light of the tower ahead. I wanted to turn back, but I kept on going. Until at last, I pulled open the tower door and crawled up the stairs. I was shivering so I could barely trim the wicks. In time, the lamps stopped smoking and burned steady again. Then I felt so sleepy. When I woke, it was dark. Too dark. The lamps were almost out of oil. I rushed to fill them. Soon the lantern room glowed, and the beam reached out into darkness like a bright strand of hope. To keep awake, I stood watch. Please don't be angry, I whispered to the ocean. Toward morning, I spied a dark shape in the distance, a boat struggling in the storm. Could it see my beacon through the thick mist and rain? All I could do was hold my breath and watch, and hope the light shone clear and strong. I feared the boat would surely crash. At the last moment, it veered away from the rocks and slipped by, heading safely into harbor. Suddenly, above the storm, I heard a familiar sound. Clang, clang! I knew that bell. I knew that boat. December 4th. The storm is over, at last, and the sunbeam is in harbor. I twirled Janie around till she squealed with laughter. Mama says Papa will be better quickly now that he knows Nate is safe. December 20th. Nate is here. Papa is all well now and went to fetch him in the dory. Nate said Papa's so proud of me. He told everyone in the village how I kept the lamps burning and saved the sunbeam. Mr. Willis said I'm the bravest light keeper in Maine, and Mama thinks it's a wonder I wasn't washed away. Well, maybe old Hannah was right. Maybe I am kin to the ocean. My birthday is coming soon, and Papa brought me a wonderful surprise. A tiny black kitten. Papa says his new assistant keeper will want some company on those cold winter nights. January 15th, 1856. I am 11 today and have come to the last page of my diary. Papa has promised to bring me a new one next time he goes to the village, so I can write more about my life on Turtle Island. Blackberry is already getting big. He's a very good kitten, though he does like to chase seagulls. Most of all, he likes to keep watch in the tower at night with the light shining bright. That's what I like best too. The end. Well, that was a good story. Honestly, it really was. Like I said, I haven't really read that book since I was in 4th grade. I even did a project on it when I was in 4th grade. So, reading this book again gave me so many memories. Anyway, I'm guessing that's going to be it for this video or the live stream. All that's left for me to say is like and subscribe, leave a comment, click the bell notifications, and I'll see you in the next one.